Now in its 11th year, the U.S. Free Skiing Open Championships brings together hundreds of the world's best new school ski athletes and thousands of eager spectators. Professional and amateur free skiers join together on one mountain to compete in 3 different disciplines: the slopestyle competition, the superpipe, and always the impressive big air competition. And the prize? How about over $60,000 in cold hard cash and the possibility of stardom? This is the U.S. Free Skiing Open Championships. Nighttime is the right time to party in the Rocky Mountains, and we are in Copper Mountain, Colorado, and it is going off. We're talking about the 11th edition of the U.S. Free Skiing Open, presented by Suzuki. Now, a lot going on out here. Tonight, we're kicking things off with big air. Tomorrow, we're going to have a little bit of pipe, but first things first. What's going to go on tonight, brother?
Big air. It's always the big show here at Copper for the U.S. Free Skiing Open. Everyone's going off, huge crowd, lots of people partying, music, fireworks. But as far as the competition, things are going to heat up for sure. We always see new blood coming in, taking the bacon on a routine basis. New names all the time. Last year's champ, Charles Gagne. We'll see if he can bring it in. Also, winner ex-champion Andreas Halbheit gunning for the gold here as well. What's it going to be, Uncle Lee? I don't know.
Nor I. 2 names synonymous with a lot of talking. Luke Von Valen, Uncle Lee. We're bringing it to you live. Big air, pipe, fireworks, music. That's what it's all about. Enjoy. For the 2nd year in a row, Copper Mountain, Colorado has played host to the Free Skiing Open, one of the longest running and most popular free skiing events in the world. What makes the event so special is the open format, allowing old school and new school up-and-comers to compete together on one massive mountain. For the past few weeks, crews have been hard at work to create a massive pipe and huge jumps for our athletes to play on. Previously, we witnessed the first part of the event, the slopestyle competition. And today, the fun continues with the big air and super pipe events. Last year's big air champion, Charles Gagne, returns here to the U.S. Free Skiing Open in hopes of maintaining his champion status.
Sure, it was a good time at my first U.S. Open because I was skiing with my idols. It's good to see the youngster come in every year. I think they're surprising a lot of pros now. They're basically as good as the pros.
The U.S. Open is incredible because it's an important enough contest that you get the pros here to perform, at the top of their game. And it's pretty much the only event that you can have young AMs come up and ski side by side with you. It's fun because it's exciting. It's like this new sport that we're building, and without events like U.S. Open, it would be really hard to kind of bring everything together.
So as the sun sets over the mountains, spectators and fellow athletes alike prepare themselves for the infamous big air competition that will take place under the lights. This big air event is strictly for the guys and is invitation only. In the qualifying rounds, 35 athletes each take 2 jumps with the goal of combining the biggest air they can with some impressive tricks. Of the 2 jumps, their best run counts, and the top 8 guys move on to the quarterfinals, where the competition becomes head-to-head. The winner ultimately will walk away with a huge chunk of change, $10,000.
You're going to see people like Charles Gagne and, Sammy Carlson and everyone just, going all out, doing, switch 1260s, double corks, kangaroo flips, and who knows what's going to happen this year, so.
I could have gone a bit faster, but it felt good. I did my trick, landed real well, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel good. I know I can do a little bit more, so it's good to be on top right now.
The night event is real good. It doesn't matter really that it's snowing because it's so lit up, so we can see fine. It's a really good time. I'm stoked.
After that impressive onslaught of aerial madness firing through the night, there's the 8 guys that remain into the head-to-head quarterfinals. A little bit of snow flying, light shining on it, and our first guy in the head-to-head competition is Sammy Carlson from Oregon. He's a big air specialist who took the 3rd place podium spot here in 2007. This time, he's reaching for the gold.
I'm a pretty competitive person. Like I don't show it that much, but inside I always I don't like to, like, when I'm not skiing good, I hate it. It's not that fun for me. So coming into events, I just I try and do the best I can, stay focused, but have a lot of fun too, because that's really what it's all about, is just having fun and ski the best I can. So when I'm approaching the jump, you can usually feel the speed. Like after you've hit it a couple times, you can feel how fast you're going, and I just usually try and make sure my speed's right, and then get the angle I want to take off the jump, and then get my pop and just go for my grab, and hopefully I'll make the landing. In the contest, I'm not really too scared. Like when I hit the jump, I'm scared of like not landing my run. That's kind of not really scary, but just nervous about it. But when I'm skiing, like filming in the backcountry, I'm always like scared. The first time you hit a jump, you don't really know, am I going to go fast enough? Am I going to make the landing? That's kind of definitely a scary thing. But in the contest, I'm not usually too scared of the jumps. This year, I definitely feel a little bit more pressure. I kind of feel like everyone kind of expects me to do a little better this year, and I don't know. This year, I've just been using my iPod a lot up on the mountain and just trying to stay in my zone and have as much fun as I can.
Well, the nighttime one-hit wonder known as Big Air begins its quarterfinal assault. Sammy Carlson coming from way back deep. A little bit of crosswind going on. Luke, what do we expect to see?
Well, Sammy's got to stick with something fairly stock, but difficult enough to put the pressure on Mr. Mike Clark. Here's the switch 1080 going for it. And right there, that is definitely considered a crash for Mr. Carlson. His one hope now is that Mr. Mike Clark goes down as well. Tough luck for our champ, Sammy Carlson.
That is the nature of the beast of head-to-head competition, so it's all or nothing. Clark watched what Carlson did. Now he's going to try to put this jump to his feet. Will he hang it on the line? Switch, 1080, similar trick, is able to hold on. I believe the recipient of that win is going to go to Mike Clark.
Without a doubt, Uncle Lee, truth be told, you really cannot fall. Mr. Mike Clark putting it down to his feet there, and we will move along. Without a doubt, Mr. Mike Clark moving on to the semifinals. Our next duo up, Tomas Doplatz and Jossie Wells. Tomas on course.
See him leaning back, generating speed on the tails of his skis. Switches it around. Last minute, little crosswind going on. 1, 2, 3, the switch, 1080, and whoa, it gets thrown off to the side through the fence. How he avoided the stake, so we don't know, but what went wrong here, Luke?
Well, here he is coming around on that last 360, landing a little bit early and right to his edges, them steering him straight toward the fence, nowhere to run.
Now Jossie Wells from New Zealand will play a smart strategic game here. Probably not pull out the big trick, just try to put a solid jump together, stomp the landing just like that, and he should easily move on to the next round.
That's right, with the pressure off, a nice-looking Rodeo 5 is all it took from Jossie Wells.
Yep, my friend fell over, so all I had to do was land on my feet. Thought I'd give the crowd a nice little rodeo. Stormed it, now I'm through the next part of the final, so I'm stoked.
17-year-old from New Zealand having a great time out here at Copper Mountain. Andreas Hartveit from Norway. Tall drop of water and very solid in the air. Let's see what he has. Oh, man. 3.5 rotations, Luke, and not quite to his feet. Risk reward?
Absolutely, and typically in the past, this trick isn't a huge risk for the Norwegian. We've seen him land it so many times in the past, but such a big bobble there that in many ways the pressure is going to be off of Mr. Russ Henshaw. All he's got to do at this point is bring it to his feet. Let's see what he's got.
Coming in, uses his head for full rotation, switch 1080, puts a landing gear down. That will move him into the semifinals. So head-to-head, mano-a-mano. Sudden death elimination. You have a look at Russ right here. Grabbing that ski for all it's worth, spotting his landing, just touching the hand down a bit. Maybe practicing, getting his skill set dialed in for the semifinals is Henshaw. Well, now it's time for the Big Air reigning champion, Quebec Canada's own Mr. Charles Gagner, who stunned the crowd last year with a huge switch 1260, which catapulted him to the top spot on the podium.
The Big Air consists of one big jump, and it's going to be the one who can throw the biggest trick, big spin or double flip with good style. The US Open Big Air last year was quite a surprise for me. I didn't know what I was going to throw, and finally I threw a switch 1260, and I didn't thought I was going to do that. So I was happy ending with the winning. I just like to push myself and go as big as I can, and do the best trick I can do. My first time at the US Open was about 6 years ago, and I'm really happy to be there again this year because it's a fun event every year.
So will the Quebecois be able to double down and earn the top spot on the podium again? He's going to have to fend off a heavy hitter in the name of Colby James West. So Gagner coming in hot and heavy. Backwards, or switch as we call it, hitting it hard. Will he go 1260 again?
Oh, slows it down to the 10. Definitely still in the fast lane for most people. That is a big trick. Getting the double grab. Let's have a look at the replay there. That's called an octo grab. Notice he's grabbing with back and front hand, two different skis. Octopus style. A lot of things going on there. To the tranny, to the feet. Not a problem. The pressure now on Colby James West up top.
Yeah, although it wasn't the 1260 that won the event last year, that was a rock-solid performance by Gagner. Colby James West, Big Air specialist, been known for floating it all the way down the hill. Oh! Well, wow. A lot to be said about that there. It's up to the judges now. Similar jumps, both of them switched 1080s, but distance might play a factor here.
Absolutely. You'll see the lines down the landing indicating distance. And Colby West, I mean, it's called Big Air for one reason only, because you really got to go big if you want to take the bacon out here, Uncle Lee.
And West did just that, taking down the defending champ, Charles Gagner. And there's a look at the head-to-head semis, Clark and Wells, and then Henshaw and West coming up. Well, our next Big Air athlete is Lake Placid's own Mike Clark. We sat down with him to see what makes him tick.
My first year was really intimidating. Just showing up and seeing all the big name pros and just being in the start gate next to any of the big name guys, and it's really intimidating to be one of those younger guys and not really sure what you're doing there, and you don't get a lot of practice runs, but you just kind of have to show your skiing. Well, I came into this hoping to do very well in Big Air, and I think we'll see how it goes. I'd like to just make finals and ski my best, I guess.
Back to the top, it's Michael Clark in a place he has not been before, the semifinals of a big competition known as the U.S. Free Skiing Open. They're starting way up there because of the new snow. You can see him skating in through the dark with the paparazzi chasing him down into the actual start house. They've created a little entryway right there where the light is, and they're starting about 5 football fields back, Luke, coming in as fast as possible.
Look at that tuck, now popping switch coming backwards off this giant tabletop. Look at the size of the takeoff itself. There's the switch 10, no problem for Mike Clark.
But you look at the actual size and the distance that a Colby James West just had compared to a Clark, similar jumps. You notice great rotation, great grab. He's landing near the top of the hill, so all things considered a good jump, but not great in the Big Air scheme of things.
That's a great point. Colby West going down around that second line, and Mike Clark above the top line. Let's see what Jossie Wells has in store. The young New Zealand native, he did not come all the way up here for nothing. Moving in now to this large kicker. The switch, 1080, poked out bigger, Uncle Lee.
Yes, stomping the landing, floating it further down. If the previous heat was any indication, I'm giving that win right there to Jossie Wells.
Without a doubt, a great point. And let's look at the replay here. Similar trick. Look at the grab. Full extension down below that first line. And Michael Clark here in jump number 2. What does he got for us, Uncle Lee?
Yeah, semifinals, by the way, is best 2 out of 3, upping the ante because these are the best on the planet, flinging them far down the hill. Clark goes a little further. Similar jump from the first time, sticking with his game plan.
Absolutely. Maybe dropping into a little bit deeper off-axis rotation right there. Here he is, and right around where we saw Mr. Wells in run number 1. Here he is in run number 2.
Jossie Wells, switch. We saw him float it way down the hill with that giant poked out extension. Does it again, almost a carbon copy, Luke.
Absolutely, landing virtually in the same spot. And it'll be exciting to see the replay here. Just really locking in that grab, not a problem for him, and looking like landing about at the same zone as far as distance goes. Amplitude and trickery, all very important.
And a 2-0 clean sweep over Clark, so he's going on to the finals. Jossie Wells will go up against either Henshaw or Mr. Colby James West. Russ Henshaw coming in switch. Fast, furious, in total control. He winds up a similar presentation as to what we've seen tonight, the switch 1080. Good distance down the hill. We'll see what Colby James West has to answer with.
And here's a look at the replay. Carving in hard, double mute grab, switch 1080, great amplitude. Here is Colby West, his first jump, wanting to make an impression right off the bat, looking like more speed right off the get-go. And he comes now, big mute, more amplitude, so deep, Uncle Lee, wow.
Well, to your point earlier, it is a big air. You got to see how far this young man is traveling down. Not only is he grabbing the ski, not only is the amplitude up in blustery conditions, but he's floating at 10 to 12 feet further than anybody else down the hill. He won that actual round. We go to another round, jump number 2 for Henshaw. He has to win this in order to force a third and final jump.
And here he is carving hard. Similar trick, the switch 10. And that did look a bit bigger. Will it be big enough is the question the judges will have to answer.
As these guys are ripping through these jumps, it may look relatively simple, but I challenge anyone watching this to try 3 rotations on their parents' bed or even in a diving board into a pool. Not easy whatsoever. Here comes Colby James West coming in switch. If he takes this win, he'll move on to the finals. There's the big old floater down the hill again. I tell you, no one's thrown it that big, Luke.
They're not, and he is so consistent. I think that he is getting a lot more speed on his skis, and his trick is just effortless, flawless, everything that these judges are looking for out there. Look at the size of that. He comes around to 7 about the time that most people are having to be at 9, almost landing. So he's hanging it out there. It's pleasing to the eye, and Colby West will move on to meet Jossie Wells in the final.
And it's that time. Finals, Colby James West up against the Kiwi, Jossie Wells. These guys have battled before, and they're going to do it again. Best of 3 jumps. Colby James West lights up the nighttime sky, floats it even further down on his first jump of potentially 3.
Wow.
What else can you say? I mean, look at this.
I just don't know. Look at the size of that. Just spotting the landing, boom, below the second line. We haven't even seen any other athletes out here testing that second line, but here's an opportunity for it to potentially happen. Here's Jossie Wells moving in hot, a lower tuck further down the hill, now carving in hot. There's that grab, pokes it out completely deep. Again, Uncle Lee, we will have to see the replay to really understand how big it was.
It was large. The grab, good, but not great in comparison to Colby West's huge amplitude and grab all the way throughout. It's those minor details that add up to a win. And speaking of which, Colby James West won the first round. We start with the second round of the finals.
And he is up and over again. So big. Now, you got to remember, Ugly, Colby West has got about 15 to 20 pounds on the youngster Jossie Wells. He's a more muscular man as far as builds go, and that might be why he's getting so much speed. Look at that. That is somewhere middle between second and third line.
Here it is. Wells has to win this to force a final jump off. The Kiwi putting everything together right now. Hits the lip, pops, 3 full rotations, gets the grab, and he floats it down as far as he's gone all night. It is up to the judges now, Luke.
Wow, that was a very impressive switch 1080. We also saw Colby, although it was huge, he did drag a hand on that second jump, and here Jossie is really nailing the grab all the way down. Like you said, biggest hit we've seen from him tonight, and it looks like Jossie took that round, so we're back up top to Colby West in the third and final jump.
Here it is, Colby James West going ginormous all night long. The all or nothing. When it counts in big air, Colby James West goes as big as we've seen all night long. Bigger consecutively each jump.
Unbelievable from Colby James West. Look at how slow he is rotating. And to give you perspective on this, ladies and gentlemen, that second line is right around 100 feet, and Colby sailing past it with each jump. Now Jossie Wells, his final jump, jump number 3. It is all down to this. Popping switch in now. Does he have the amplitude?
Oh, pretty rock solid jump. All things considered, a big air. Once again, Luke, I think the one factor is how much further Mr. Colby James West flew down the hill than Jossie Wells. It's a close one. I ain't no judge, but I would give this one to Colby James West. Regardless, an impressive showing by all athletes, especially those two. And our champ, Colby James West. We're with him now.
I had a good time with Jossie up there. That's just me and him at the top, sitting in the dark in the trees and just saying, let's do this 1-2 together from the beginning, and so we did it. I'm actually really stoked that we both landed everything we did. That way, it's not down to who can stick their runs, down to who does the best run. So it's also good. Honestly, all I can think about is just my friends, just being with my friends out here skiing.
Well, I saw where he dropped from, stepped up a few more places, got my push on, and just tried to go big as I could.
We promised you big antics in the big air, and I think the boys delivered, Luke, huh?
Indeed, Uncle Lee. They definitely brought forth the big game. The guns were blazing, and we had quite a show. That was last night.
Colby James West taking the title, and he's going to be competing in this Superpipe competition coming up, and that's what's right behind us. Have a look at that thing. 18-foot vertical walls, sheer ice. It's about 500 feet in length, and the object here is to go high, do a diversity of tricks, and get her done. We got men, we got women. Who are some of your favorites out there, Luke?
Well, on the female side of things, Jess Cumming, definitely a name always to keep your eyes on. Jen Hudak, big things. 720s at the bottom. Davina Williams is bringing unprecedented spins to the half pipe as well. Look out for her. Also look to the newcomer on the men's side, John Marks, going big. We're seeing 12.6s out of him. Matt Hayward, another guy to look for as well. Just unstoppable, really. Kalle Lainen from Finland, AJ Kemppainen from Finland. Guys are just going wild. Huge amplitude, as you said, very important, and they're bringing it out here today.
And as you saw in the big air and in slopestyle, the Superpipe, the U.S. Open is anybody's game. We're getting on with the semifinals right now, so let's check it out. Superpipe hotshot Peter Olenek was a double medalist at his first Winter X Games in 2004. Since then, he's been one of the few skiers who have podiumed in both Superpipe and slopestyle. But despite his dual discipline success, he's not one to get complacent.
Yeah, I get just as scared as when I did before, but now it's not as much the competition scared, it's the what tricks I have to do really well, and the level that skiing's at is just scary. Now there's so many people so good that it's just who can do it the best on that certain day. I ski like 9 months of the year, so that's a bunch of training, and then I road bike this fall just to get my legs strong and go to the gym and stretch a lot. And this year I've just been skiing half pipe a bunch, so I've been more focused on that, and I wanted to do really well in half pipe here, so we'll see.
Well, we head to the top of the pipe where we're going to show you semifinal heat number 1, kind of a highlight package of the best from both their runs. And rightfully so, we start things off with the big man, Pistol Pete Olenek, dropping in right now. What are some of the keys to success here, Luke?
Speed maintenance is a big thing all the way down this half pipe. Very icy walls. Also staying inside the half pipe. It's easy to drift out occasionally, even if it's just a foot. And speak of the devil, right there, Peter Olenek catching his heel a little bit on the top and missing his fourth and final hit.
You can see right here, first maneuver, pretty good, gets his tail slapping just a bit. You need to keep that going down the pipe on this 900 tail grab. Boom, gets his ski hung up, and that forces him to slide out. to Brent Abrams. His second run of 2 was good enough for a 72. That moves him on to the finals for the South Lake Tahoe native. And Colby James West, the recipient of a big win, the nighttime Big Air.
Ooh, it's a little wide. Got a lot of vert. You don't have to pop a lot. I learned that in practice the hard way, and it's fine. It's fun. I really like skiing half pipe, and I think that it's a good start to the half pipe year for sure.
He had some nice switch maneuvers in there, and he's moving on. Matt Hayward with a 12.60 or 3.5 rotations up top. The Canadian in his best run of 2, a 79.2.
Great run from Matt Hayward. Here's a look at one of the youngsters, Duncan Adams, a 360 right into the switch 540.
First 3 hits went well, and then the 4th one kind of slid out on the takeoff and ran out of room for my last hit, but I don't know, felt good, so I'm going to try and clean it up a little for next round.
Well, if it feels good, keep doing it, young man. Taylor Seaton, bright future for this talented lad, 76.7. His score in his best run of 2. And then Siebert, best run 71.9. Winding up his temporary tornado status.
Just did a left 5, right 5, cork 7 to a switch alley-oop 7. It's pretty fun.
A lot of download lingo there, all of course relative to spinning. Right there, for instance, that was a 900 from Kalle Leinonen, the young Finnish athlete. There's the 1080.
I did yesterday like 10 times in a row, like no problems. Today I had serious problems with my 1080.
Well, he had some problems with his 1080, but still a great score. And Stephen Thomas, the Park City-ite, been doing this for a long time, and he earns an 87.5. Always nice to see this kid out here doing it, just mixing it up.
Amplitude, technicality, mainly amplitude.
What's on his mind?
Amplitude and I think technicality.
John Sims looking for some amplitude and technicality and getting it done. Longtime local veteran. And then this kid, newcomer to the game. Talk to me, Luke.
Well, AJ Kemppainen came virtually out of nowhere. Well, Finland to be exact, but we just haven't seen a whole lot from him. And then he comes out busting out smooth tricks all the way through. So simple, and that relates to style, and style relates to pleasing to the eye, and pleasing to the eye is, of course, pleasing to the judges.
And the judges had the hardest part of the day in figuring out which 8 from that semifinal pack move on to the finals, and there you have it. Colby West, Stephen Thomas, and AJ Kemppainen, those 3 leading the charge. They'll be moving on to the finals in a wee bit. And we have another supercharged pack of skiers ready to get into the pipe, find their way into the finals. Decent-sized crowd on hand out here at Copper Mountain. We start things off with a guy who honed his skills in at Carabasset Valley Academy. Went to school to learn how to ski. His name is Dan Marion. He's got a great switch arsenal of tricks, and he's showing it to you right here, right now, Luke.
Well, I've been training it all week fairly consistently, so I was kind of hoping for that, but I'm really happy. I'm happy.
Well, he ought to be. And now we set our sights on Sean Field, the young American from California. Huge 540 here in semifinals, and wrapping it up with a very technical alley-oop 9.
Oh, man, I'm definitely feeling really good right now. That was a pretty big run.
Should feel good about that 82. John Cyrillic, his best run of 2 is 62 and change, on the border, on the cusp of, is it going to be enough to move on to the finals? And then to the Rodney Dangerfield pants of Lyndon Sheehan from New Zealand. Look at the amplitude. Look at the trickery. Let's hear his thoughts about his run.
Yeah, just trying to, amp up the game a little bit. Go bigger. Show them what it's all about.
Amplitude certainly is a huge aspect of the whole point program. Xavier Bertoni out of France, a 90.7. The highest score of any semifinal run that we have seen so far today. Congratulations to the Frenchman. He will move on to the finals. Tyler Peterson right here on his first hit. A little more amplitude needed, but a great-looking 900.
I hope so. I completely, ate it last time. So, yeah, I hope the 10 does it. So, I'm out of breath.
Back to the top, switch maneuvers always boding well. Jossie Wells' younger brother, Byron Wells, scoring 86.7. Should be just enough to get him into the finals. Some big amplitude with some fine tricks.
And here's the newcomer, John Marks. The 1260 right off the bat. And great looking amplitude. Look at the size of that flare, Uncle Lee.
When you land a 1260 and you keep it going, you got to be pumped.
Probably the 1260 up top. I really stomped that. Pretty stoked, man. Everything's going good.
As we promised, 8 guys from semi number 2 moving on. There they are. Bertoni leading it. And now it's time for the ladies to take to the pipe. And leading the charge is Winter X Games bronze medalist and 2007 U.S. Freestyle champ Jen Hudak.
It's probably my senior year of high school is when I really decided that skiing was what I wanted to do. I mean, I think I really just like the community in the ski industry and the people and my friends and my coaches, and it was something different. You know, it was a little off the beaten path, which I really like. There's definitely a core group of us that travel together, and everywhere we go, we end up, you know, around the same people again, and it's funny because, you know, this 4 months basically of the competition season, you see the same 50 people over again, and it's pretty hard to not form a bond, you know. This is my 5th year. Woo. Don't tell anyone. I showed up my first year, ended up getting 3rd, and I mean, I remember training and just skiing, and it was just like I was there to ski, you know. I didn't have that pressure expectation to do well, and I landed my run, and I was stoked, you know. And it did change my life, like, completely. It's a tricky sport, you know. Every time you're at a new event and in a new half pipe, things change, things are different, and this pipe's a lot wider, more vert than the X Games pipe, which was the last pipe I was in, and as I hike up the pipe, I kind of look and I see where I'm going to be hitting in the half pipe and just try and visualize everything and feel myself doing it, and it seems to help because I landed a good run this afternoon. So.
I recall meeting Jen for the first time at Okemo Mountain back east for the U.S. Free Skiing Open Eastern Edition. I believe it was 04. She had a smile on her face then. She's still carrying that same positive aura about her, and a overall great spokesperson for the ladies' side of things in sport. So here she goes. Not afraid to hang it on the line either, Luke.
No, not at all. Jen Hudak, definitely known as one of the gals who really gets out there and gets right after it. Back-to-back 540s prove said point, and a setup air into the bottom could be something big right here. The 720, and some trouble with the landing right there. 14th place. After that run, her best run will land her in that 14th place spot. Definitely a fun athlete to have out. Not exactly Jen's day, though.
No, not at all. The format, best of 3 runs. Let's hear from Jen.
You know, adding a new element to my run, the alley-oop 5, it's hard. You know, it's hard. It's something like my consistency has always been one of my strong suits, like landing runs. Like, I'm a competitor, and sometimes that's not enough, you know.
And Mainami Mitsubishi moves into the pipe for one of her 3 runs. And watch this one here. Smack! The chiropractor's delight. She pumps it and claims it. We slow it down a little bit. Watch this. My spine's made of jelly. Bang! And she gets up and keeps moving on down. That's what it's all about. Just hanging it on the line out here in the pipe.
Absolutely. Anjali Van Lanen out of the U.S. 6th place after her runs right now, showing that she has great amplitude, taking it all the way up to the top with big airs just like that. Adding some trickery could potentially lead her to the podium. Right now, Stephanie Sirianni out of Australia, her best run leading her into 9th place. And putting together a good run, mixing up the switch and forward combinations. Davina Williams right now at the 9.
Oh, Luke, I love the way these gals, year after year, are hanging it more on the line, doing new tricks. Em Lonsdale getting her feet and her wits about her here. And dropping in Claudia Bouvier, who earned a 3rd place spot in the slopestyle competition earlier, getting her wits about her in the pipe, down at the bottom, winding up a 720, and happy about it.
I feel really relieved, you know, pressure's off a little bit. That was the first time I'd thrown a 7 in a while, so I'm pretty psyched.
And moving down the line, Katrine Ertz in the 11th place spot when everything's said and done. Nice looking 360 there. And Megan Gunning now, the young Canadian, in 7th.
Well, again, these ladies coming out of the woodwork every year, numbers are bigger, and they're getting higher, and they're doing a lot better tricks. As you can see, Gina Geminer, she's been doing this for about 4 years now, and shows up every year and does her thing. Kelty Hansen, the Canadian, moves into 5th place. Her best run, a 70. So you can see an international contingency out here having some fun, like the French goddess Anaïs Cardot.
Anaïs with a nice big alley-oop right there. Looking good, start to finish.
And then we lock ourselves into the top 3.
Looks like Roz Grunewald dropping into the pipe right there. Definitely one of the ladies, a right spinner by nature. Let's see what she's got right here. Oh, the 900 straight to her feet. We're not seeing a whole lot of that from the ladies, Uncle Lee.
No, when you put one like that down to your feet, you got to be happy.
I took a really, really bad fall, hence the eye in slopestyle. So I'm just so glad that I came out and competed today, because I'm really, really feeling bad.
You got to love the true spirit of competition out here. Miriam Jaeger, the Swiss Ripper, takes 2nd place. Her best run is 78.2. Rock solid performance with great spins, nice proper landings, and fluidity down the pipe. That's what the judges reward you on.
And here she is into her final hit, the alley-oop right there, and a good-looking run from Miriam. And finally on to Jess Cumming out of the USA, taking the top spot with a great run like this. Look at the 540. See amplitude and very smooth trickery all the way down, Uncle Lee. What can you say?
A big win for this young lady who had a fall here a couple years ago at the Open in big air, and she's come back. Huge smile on her face. Your champ on the women's side of things in the Super Pipe.
This is definitely the biggest result that I've had, so I couldn't be happier. It's the U.S. Open, you know. Everyone always tries to get to the top at this one, and yeah, it just feels really good.
Well, big props to all the ladies out there doing it for the pipe, and Jess Cumming taking the win, Jaeger and Grunewald taking 2nd and 3rd. Men's Super Pipe Finals, run 1 of 3. We head to the top of the pipe. Copper Mountain's the spot, U.S. Free Skiing Open. Always important to walk away proud and on top. Who will it be this time? Well, got to filter through 3 sets of runs for each guy. Dropping in first, Byron Wells, the youngster, the younger brother of Jossie Wells. And this kid has got a statement to make, Luke.
Well, statement made, Uncle Lee. The switch dropping right into a 720, starting backwards, landing forwards, spinning both directions here. He may be the younger brother, but he's showing at this point that he is a sensation all his own. Look at that big alley-oop off axis 5. Young Byron Wells throwing it all down. Here's another look at that switch 720, getting the safety grab in there. And here is that strange-looking alley-oop 5. You know, some things don't always come around. It's nice to see that that one did. Sean Field now, Uncle Lee.
Sean Field, a Tahoe, North Lake Tahoe local. Watched this kid since the age of 13. His biggest nemesis was not enough hits in the pipe, but big amplitude. He is now graduated from 3 or 4 hits to great trickery. You're seeing all sorts of combinations there with great amplitude. An 80.0 for Field's first run.
Absolutely. Moving on to John Marks. We saw him start off the 1260. Will he do it again? Yes. 3.5 spins right there, ladies and gents. And good-looking flare. Will he get the grab on this 3rd trick? The 9 straight to his feet. One more hit.
Oh, Marks. Spectacular run right there. 82.5. Hitting 4 hits down the pipe. Look at this wind-up. 3 full rotations, leading with the head. Body just all corked out.
No grab.
Tough to grab in 3.5 rotations. Still very impressive. Dan Marion, the East Coast native, starts off with 2.5 rotations or a 900. Then he starts going down the pipe. Switch, the 720 into a 540.
And there's that alley-oop flat spin 540. Great grab. Has the mute. Tweaks it out, shows the judges, and then puts it down to his feet. Now on to A.J. Kempinen. A lot of eyes on this young man. Moving into the switch 720. Tickling the grab there, Uncle Lee, but not quite locking it in. Good-looking 540 on that other wall. See how smooth he is. See how consistent he seems to be, spinning both directions all the way down the pipe. And one more hit for Mr. Kempinen.
Wow.
So solid.
81. Good enough for 2nd position thus far in run number 1. Have a look. Matching the transitions at the top and carrying our speed across is very important. Watch his skis like magnets. They land there. Gets his hands out in front of him. moving on down the line. Next up, Taylor Seaton. This kid's got a lot of potential. A youngster, been training in this pipe for a while, he said. Gets up, look at his big 900 corked out with style and a grab. And his last hit down below. Oh, give me a 1080, would you? 3 full rotations and the highest score out of run number 1 so far, an 85.2.
And Xavier Bertoni, the highest score coming into the finals. There's the switch 720. Such a solid mute grab there. You know, when Xavier Bertoni puts his entire run that he wants to his feet, he's very difficult to beat.
Right now, down below, will he have the 1083 rotations? Yes. 78.7 up top, a little bit of an issue. Judges take that into consideration.
And Stephen Thomas out of Park City, Utah. Such a technical run. Doesn't spin quite as much as some of the other athletes, but he's switched to regular, typically landing switch, which is very difficult in the half pipe, if you can imagine. Here is the switch 900 right there. And a nice little duster, if you will.
Love Stefan's style. Kalle Laininen from Finland. These Finns, I've seen them in mogul skiing for years. They're quite good in racing and now in the pipe and snowboarding as well. Look at the aerial trajectory. The 1080, not able to hold on, and off comes a shoe. Run number 1 will be put in the trash for him.
Look forward to run number 2 from this individual. Here's another look at the 1080 went wrong. Just losing a ski on that left foot. There's 2 9s, then a 1080, and he is lining up a switch hit. That could be a very big run.
There you go, run 1, top number 5, Seaton, Marks, Kampainen. But 2 more runs to go, Luke. A lot of heavy hitting action. Here's the Kiwi, Lyndon Sheehan.
Dropping in. We've seen this young individual go so big in the past, and one thing that he does, he seems to develop more speed the further down the pipe he goes. So huge air on the 3rd hit. Most people lose speed by the end, but Lyndon Sheehan lining it up, and a good run from the young New Zealand native.
Real good, 83.7. He's got a aggressive cowboy style. It's almost like he's bow-legged in them pants right there. And look at the amplitude. That does separate the men from the boys.
Great run. Let's hear from him.
I'm stoked. First run, a little sketchy. Second run got down, so it's all good. It's all good. Stoked.
Dan Marion, after 1 run, an 80. A lot of these guys now will take into consideration how good they've thrown it down and try to apply a little more technicality. So, Dan, looking for the grab on the 900.
It's always easier to come a little more comfortably into your second run if you have a solid first run. Dan does, and now we're seeing a little more amplitude. The alley-oop flat spin, yes.
Tweaked out with the grab. Nice one, Dan. Well, Sean Field dropping in. He had an 80 as well in his first run. He can do the risk-reward party here. There's the 540 with the big old mute grab. An alley-oop 900, 2.5 rotations down the pipe, 900 with the grab. Does he have a final trick up his sleeve of greatness? And he has one more. This is going to bode well for him if he can keep it together. Nice job, Sean. Same score, however, so similar run equals similar score.
And Colby James West dropping in now, the Big Air champ. Canterbury, New Hampshire, his hometown, and starts it off with the 900. Now, you might have noticed he cut a little more straight up the wall on that first hit, looking for the higher mark on the height-o-meter in place, but not having as much speed into his second hit. Here's the switch hit, and typically we see Colby James West with a switch 7 there. He stopped at 5, so speed might have been an issue there on run number 2.
Well, here comes the flying Finn, Kalle Laininen. Not a great first-run score, but watch out. This kid has got a bunch of skill.
He does, and I've been anticipating this second run. He had a little bit of trouble on his third hit. Coming up, this trick here. There is the 1080. Stomps it this time, looking switch into his final wall. Does he have the switch 7? Yes.
Run 2 much better, 78.2, and look at this. Gets 3 full rotations, landing backwards, and he keeps the momentum going across the pipe into his next maneuver. Judges love to see the combos and the fluidity.
And Mr. Stephen Thomas, the fabled spider-style individual, dropping in now. Nordica skis as much power as he can muster with his small stature. And a nice-looking 7 into the switch 7. Admired among his fellow competitors for a very difficult run that he puts together. And here is the switch 900. We saw him stomp it in the first run. And adding an element right there, the switch 5.
Yeah, it doesn't have the amplitude, but the sheer mastery and the uniqueness of that run definitely gives him respect in the community.
Absolutely. Xavier Bertoni lining up a switch 1080 first hit made famous by Tanner Hall. And the second hit, a nice-looking 540. What a statement right off the bat. You know, holding it together after such a huge trick like that is a huge chore in itself. 87.0 on run number 2.
Yeah, starts things off with the switch thing. That's going backwards up an 18-foot vertical ice wall, doing 3 rotations, landing forward and carrying it down the pipe. And on the bottom, check this out, there's 3 more rotations. Just dizzying. Watch it. Lands backwards perfectly, doesn't touch the hands down, claims it. Highest score thus far with an 87.
And moving along to another European, AJ Kemppainen out of Finland. Missed his grab on this trick in the first run, having no trouble here in the second run of finals here at the U.S. Free Skiing Open, Copper Mountain, Colorado, holding it down. Look at the 900, the comfort this man has, Uncle Lee.
Oh, man, that is as good as it gets for that young man. 89.2, maybe a small couple of grabs he can improve upon, but the switch, see it right there, if he was able to hold that grab just a little longer, the judges might reward him a touch better. So there you are after run number 2 of 3, our top 5, Kemppainen, Bertoni, Thomas, Sheehan, and Marion. Bertoni, 87. He's currently in second position, dropping in. We've seen this switch 1080 out of the gates. Does he have it again, Luke?
There it is, the switch 1080, holding it together into his second hit. Now he just needs to buckle down and think wall to wall. There's 1 9, 2 9s.
Oh, that's going to cost him dearly. But you know what? He had to do that in second place, all or nothing.
Absolutely. Here's another look at it. Just a little bit low on the landing. The hands didn't get down there in front. Just landed a little off balance and paid the price.
These guys make it look so easy. And here comes a master of technicality, Stephen Thomas, right out of Park City, Utah. Just watch his cool fluidity here. Lands backwards. He just has a totally different looking run than the rest.
Indeed. And there's the switch 7.
Love that move right there.
It really is nice, isn't it?
It's just different. The whole run is just different than anybody else's. You know, he's doing it on his own terms. An 86. Love the kid. Love it.
Rosie, good-looking improvement. Tricks like this gets the grab in there on a switch alley-oop 900. That is such a difficult trick. Stephen Thomas making it look easy. Moving along now to Kalle Leinonen out of Finland and pumping into his first wall. This is a run. He has huge opportunity here, Uncle Lee.
Yeah, but he's going to wind up his version of the 900, and he's got another 9, or does he have the 10 here? He's going to bust out the 10 and keeping that Flotron going down the pipe. Alley-oop, 9, touching the hands down just a skosh. 84.5. Will it be enough for a podium spot?
Wow, look at this switch 900. Such a deep cork. And when we say cork, we mean, of course, an off-axis spin. It's not ballerina style. It is off-centered and very difficult to land. Now on to Taylor Seaton. He is a Copper Mountain sponsored athlete, and out here riding his home pipe, making it look easy with a nice-looking 540 right there. Also representing a Rajan Armada. Look at that left side 900 into the right side 10.
Wow, Taylor Seaton loving his home pipe. 87.7. That should be enough for a podium. Look at the windup. The body upstairs just winding things up like a mad top. Brings it around. And the youngsters got to be stoked out here at home. But one dude, AJ Kemppainen, who's currently in the lead, he has just been a magnet to these walls. Watch him match these transitions. There's the grab, double grab we were talking about.
And they're moving right into the 540. Little hesitant on the grab there, and also on that 900 right now. It'll be difficult to see if this is going to be an improvement, and it is not. AJ Kemppainen still in first place. His third run falling short, however, of his prior score.
You know what, Luke? It doesn't matter, because with that run, that's our last competitor. AJ Kemppainen walks away. Victory in his first U.S. Open. He is the champ of the pipe. Let's talk to him.
Yeah, I got a better grab on the top, and maybe went a little bit bigger. Didn't get my fifth hit, but it's fine. I'm so excited.
Well, at the top of the show, top of the hour, we promised you some heavy-hitting action, and I don't think we'll let you down whatsoever. Last night, under snowy conditions, a beautiful evening, the Big Air, Colby James West and Jossie Wells just had an all-out throwdown, action-packed evening, and who walked away victorious?
Colby James West.
That's right. Pretty darn good stuff, huh?
Not bad at all. Colby James stepped up to the plate, kept going bigger and bigger all night. The crowd went wild. It was just an awesome evening. But today, what did we have?
Oh, the super pipe, the U-ditch, nonstop action. Started out pretty smooth, the snow picked up, but it did not stop the guys from throwing down. When it was all said and done, the ladies' side of things, just coming. How about them men, though?
AJ Kemppainen from Finland, not even much of a pipe skier prior to training here in Colorado for quite a while, and stepped up to the plate, got the win, top of the podium, superstardom.
Yeah, and that's what the U.S. Open is all about, bringing people from all over the globe to congregate here in Colorado. New names on the docket, they become superstars pretty much overnight in this community. This is Luke Von Valen. I'm Uncle Lee. We thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.